is the president of the American Islamic Forum for Democracy and National Center and Middle East expert. There he is, Dr. Zuhdi Jasser. It's great to see you, my friend. And also here, Newsmax foreign policy analyst and former Trump foreign policy advisor, the best one out there. We love him, Walid Phares. So I want to ask both of you guys, Zuhdi, what do you think of all of this that's happening with the, quote, new supreme leader? We haven't seen him. And War Secretary Pete Hegseth is saying that, of course, the U.S. is decimating so many targets. But he just came out yesterday during this Pentagon briefing and said that he believes this new leader, if he's even alive, was severely injured and likely disfigured. What do you believe, Zuhdi, and how important is this to know this information?
Well, I think it's very important to know that they've decimated the leadership and systematically, as one puts their head up, U.S. and Israeli intelligence have been knocking it out, and they're basically organizing the chairs on the deck of the Titanic, and they have lost authority. Now, remember, 70 to 75 million Iranians are part of the revolution against this theocracy. So in order to maintain power, the 10 to 15 million diehard party activists of the IRGC, deep state type, have to have clerical control. That transfer has been locked in stone for 1,000 years on how they do it. It can't be by dynasty like the Saudis or monarchs. It's supposed to be by 88 clerics, what they call the vilayat-i faqih, that decides who that is. They've bypassed that. They can't really say they're replacing the 12th Imam. They are hemorrhaging and losing their even clerical legitimacy within their own party system, let alone among the power structures that really, no one's really running the place, it seems right now from the information we have.
What do you make of this, Walid, too? Because it does seem incredibly disjointed. And one of the things, too, that was so interesting in his, quote, first statement, there was a newscaster there in Iran who was reading this statement. And in it said, we're going to keep the Strait of Hormuz locked. We're going to keep fighting the oppressor. They vowed to go after the United States, but yet we didn't see him. And the other thing, Walid, too, in the, quote, coronation, all they did was hold up a picture of this new supreme leader. So we haven't even heard his voice. What do you think's going on, Walid?
Well, first of all, I'm not really concerned about is he alive or not alive for a simple reason, because the control is not in his hands. It's in the hands of top generals, top commanders of the IRGC. And guess what? They're money people. These warlords who have been accumulating billions and billions of dollars only from the $150 billion Iran deal. You know, they got up to $130 billion. That's only from that deal. There were other deals under the Biden administration. So what is happening right now is they're on a survival mode. What they think, their strategic plans think, that at one point, if they don't, if they are not destroyed completely, then the Trump administration at some point within a few months from now will be very, they say, busy with domestic matters happening here. Should there be terror attacks, globalize the intifada, or the actual, political battle for the midterms? That's what they think. That's what their consultants in Washington are telling them. Just hold on, just a few months, and then whatever you can survive with, you can come back as long as you don't have an internal opposition. That's why the president has been mentioning yesterday and today that he's going after the Basij, after the militia that is oppressing, suppressing, and killing up to 40,000 people. So there is a race between them trying to survive, and of course he's a figurehead, Mojtaba, and then of course what the actions of the U.S. and Israel and the Iranian opposition combined will take us to.
Yeah, that's very important. The other thing, too, also, Zuhdi, is that the funding for the IRGC, we were just seeing that they were squeezing. Some of the banks were saying, OK, we're going to cut off assets. If they stop paying those guys, will they flip? Because that's, of course, the big hope. What do you think, Zuhdi?
Oh, absolutely. That's why this phase 2 now that we're entering, which is the economic suffocation of the regime and the regime pressure to the Basij, and as Walid laid out, is so important. I'll give you the Syrian example. Syria had a 14 years revolution where almost 1 million people died, and they couldn't defeat Assad because he was funded by Russia and Iran and had forces coming from Iran with Hezbollah, etc. In 1 month, Israel made that stop, sealed the borders, took out their local munitions and tanks and things like that, and then basically the jihadists came down from Aleppo in Toyotas and took over Damascus. So this is actually now in Iran, it's a much bigger scale, but the millions of revolutionaries who are unarmed, once they're able to go into the streets and the people, the IRGC can't fund their officers, they will take off their uniform and try to blend in because it's the end of the road for them. So they won't necessarily flip because their ideologues and the population knows who they are, but they will try to blend in and will lose a power, if you will.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.